So Giganticus himself only took us 2 tries, despite my terrible explanation of his attacks, which I've cut out because I was sort of panicked and stressed out, and it didn't go very well. I've also cut out the first fight. We actually got him to stage 3 on our very first attempt ever, but due to my worst tutorial ever, we weren't prepared for his attacks. Honestly, I watched the raw footage back, and it was kind of painful where I attempted to explain things so badly, and I clearly sort of annoyed people, so I apologise for that. Anyway, for our second attempt, I've sped the fight up because it was a long one. I cleared up some confusion on the run back to the boss, and equipped an awful rare rifle instead of my bow. I also swapped my greatsword for the axe shield combo as well. And if you're interested to see the fight in real time with all the commentary intact and everything like that, I've already uploaded an unlisted video showing that, and I'll put a link to that in the video description of this one, or in an annotation. Just look out for it, it's in there somewhere. I warn you though, it is a long fight. I think it's 18 minutes. So only watch that if you're really interested or you've got time. Giganticus has 3 stages to his fight. In the first stage, he summons locusts that do quite a bit of damage. They focus on Xavier for most of the time, and he throws grubs at party members. The grubs can be dodged, so they never spawn. However, we just chose to range it and stack up on each other while I spammed melee at the location that the grubs would spawn, so that we could kill them more easily. If these grubs do make it back to the boss, he gains a stacking buff, and the buff basically makes his main attack in the next stage do more damage. So it's worthwhile to not let him eat grubs. At certain numbers of stacks of that buff, the attack becomes an instant kill, so again, just don't let him eat them. Unfortunately though, we let him eat 2. One of these was due to a bug where he spawned a grub in melee range of himself on one of Lex's phantasms, and he instantly ate it. This was kind of annoying because the devs had recently made a post saying that they'd fixed this, but clearly the footage here shows that they hadn't. And the other grub was actually me just not killing it fast enough, so whoopsie. In phase 2, Giganticus starts throwing out these massive AoEs around the room. I had Xavier bring Wall of Reflection here to try and block some of the projectiles. It does work, you might just barely see me block them a few times, but I'm not sure if I show it in this part or if I showed it in the first fight, which I cut out, but I do know it does block them. Anyway, some confusion was caused because I wasn't clear enough that you had to stand inside the wall, but there you go, you can't just stand behind it, so sorry about that, fellas. And the boss also shadow steps to people, which again does more AoE damage where he lands, so it's in your best interest to sort of spread out a lot. The circles in this phase are unclear. Damage will happen outside of them, and the only thing you can do is hope that you dodged into a good spot, or have a block or an invulnerability skill active. You'll see me screw up my shield block and endure pain quite a few times actually. You can point and laugh at me for that in the comments if you like. I also totally forgot to tell Lex when to time warp, but we were pretty much just focused on the fight. Ideally you want to time warp in stage 2 to get him out of it as fast as possible. Finally, there's stage 3. Now he follows generally the guy on your team that has the most toughness. He encases that person in a cage, and the only way out is by using stability, invulnerabilities, or blinks. He'll also float into the air, and he does a huge AoE circle that does a few ticks of damage. You get a double dodge out of that, or you can use blocks or something like that. Sometimes he launches a barrage of shots in melee range, again another dodge, or you die. I actually get hit by that once, but I dodge out of it and I'm okay. Again, you'll have to look for that one somewhere. And he also does this sort of a suck move, where he puts his hand in front of his face and moves it out. You'll see me explain that in the raw footage somewhere, which this attack actually steals life and can potentially heal him back into stage 2, which he actually does early on in the fight. So watch out for that. Another double dodge will save you from that trouble, but yeah, you gotta watch out for it. I feel sorry for Wolf here because he got all of the aggro from that move, literally every single time. So after about an 18-minute fight in real time, yes, 18 minutes, holy crap, we downed him. So mad props to Xavier for tanking it for the very second time so well. Mad props to Lex, Valak and Wolf for keeping the damage up and rezzing properly. It was a really difficult fight. Good job guys, good teamwork and everything. and again. Sorry about my terrible directions, but it felt really rewarding to actually beat this boss. However, we're not done yet. There's 2 more bosses to go and a champion. And we're already 1.5 hours into the run in real time. Luckily we get a waypoint there just after Lupicus, which is nice, but it doesn't quite make up for the distance you still have to run if you wipe now. So we move through this maze section with horrible undead mobs in it. We encounter these illusionists for I think the 2nd time, and they hurt a lot. The Chaos Storm is insanely painful. Kill them first, and then move on, or just run past if you want. We found out that these guys actually respawn, which is incredibly silly if you ask me, so just run past them. A lot of people skip this boss. It's a gorilla boss, but I've never seen it, so I sort of want to fight it. You heard me say there, a lot of people skip this boss, but I've never actually seen it, so I sort of want to fight it. I regret saying that. At the time it seemed perfectly reasonable to fight this gorilla boss. However, the amount of ads that he summons is completely mental. We got so overwhelmed with panic and for so long that we eventually just gave up. It turns out that you can pull him to an area with few corpses around for him to summon, but we didn't know this at the time, and as far as I know it's actually pointless to kill him.
I'm up to 3 gorillas on me, knocking me down. Like, there's not enough stun breakers in the world to get me up from this. 6-second knockdown, 6-second knockdown. I can't even move. 6-second knockdown, 6-second knockdown. This is insane, what the fuck?
His run animation is terrible.
There's the 4th and 5th. And 6th.
There's a ton up now, yeah.
Where are you, Xavier?
Hello.
Follow the gorilla.
I love how I come in and get instantly CC'd by all of them. Now I'm down.
They didn't forget about you, Xavier.
Look at this.
There's a pile of them around, it's terrible.
They're fucking dead. Even the boss winning on me. What the
I'm not here. Don't look at this. I'm not here.
What is
That was
this?
Valak. I'm sorry, Valak, but there's a terrible army behind me. I'm not just gonna like stand there and res you.
It's fine.
Who designed this fight?
Because
Ship them off,
there's
they're all
a
chasing
dozen
you.
after me.
Please help.
For great justice.
Please let.
I'm helping Valak. Wait your turn.
Should we run away from this fight?
I think
Because
so,
this
yeah.
is really silly.
I'm already running away from this fight. I mean, quite frankly, I'm just running.
Don't go in that room, Wolf.
Okay, that's lovely, but this fight has followed us.
If everyone didn't skip this boss, I'd know what the hell to do.
Now you know why
I
they
think-
skipped the boss.
I think the reason everyone skips is because there's nothing you can do.
I don't have a fucking this. That was the stupidest, most ill-conceived fight I've ever seen.
So I finally gave up and let everyone run away. We're then met with a horrible spider room.
I went invulnerable for a few seconds to try to. Oh my god.
Wow.
Try to what?
Well, I stayed alive for a bit, and then they broke aggro off me for a millisecond. So.
Oh, that's not good.
And that happened. So we finally gave in again and adopted the run the hell past everything strategy, which I think worked quite well.
There's a room full of spiders.
3, 2, go.
Lag.
5 seconds.
Just remember to take these crystals, because if you don't have reflection skills, you're gonna need them. At this boss, Lex was actually informing me that he was doing no damage with feedback, but we assume that's because it doesn't let you do damage to the boss if you're outside of his ring of fire. If you're inside the ring of fire, feedback and wall of reflection would have worked perfectly fine. However, we didn't do that, because I wanted to, for science, see what I could do here, so grab the crystals and aggro the boss. I actually soloed him here because I had no idea what caused the crystals to break. By the way, the crystals break! Panic mode engage. It's presumed that they only break if you reflect too many projectiles in a short amount of time, but I still don't know. Just don't get caught by the lava font and juggle crystals well between your team, and you don't actually need to solo it. However, if you want to be a hero like me, / an idiot, then by all means go ahead. But that's the last boss. There's sort of an anti-hero moment right here. And here's an anti-climax to the dungeon.
Excellent. I've checked the runes. Now let me examine the device itself.
She's invisible for me.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, she's invisible
This
for me too.
clearly shows some new stars in the firmament, and they line up with the Jotun designs. The appearance of the Elder Dragons is reflected by the stars themselves. When they awaken, so do these new stars. This will be most helpful for our future work.
So,
Yeah.
Is that it?
we have discovered there are stars in the sky.
We couldn't have done this from home. We had to have this telescope to do that.
Overall, that was the hardest dungeon I've ever done, and it wasn't lack of skill that made it so difficult. It was a lack of knowledge, and in my opinion, some odd design choices by the dungeon design team. I think Xavier will agree there. He spent quite a long time telling me about how difficult it was for him, and I can totally understand that it looked hard, looking back on the footage now. But I am glad that we've done it. So tell me what you guys think of our run, and thank you so much for sticking with us. This run was over 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours long. Now go and rest, our weary heroes. Ghostbusters reference.
So was Mike. Mike, was that as wonderful as you thought it would be?
No, it was horrible. To anyone watching these millions of videos, because I'm going to have to split this up, never do Arah, it's not worth it.